waiting for that. Yes, perfect. Thanks, Andy. Okay, guys. So, we're going to do just about 2 minutes of warm-ups. So, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, we're going to do a little bit of warm-ups. Go on. Let's start right now. Here we go. 3 and 4. Ni, ah, yi. 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 Keep going. I'm about to cut out. One more. Keep going, basses. That note. Good. All right, you know which one we're going to do right now because we haven't done it in I don't know how many months. If I want my diction to be clear and understood, lips and tongue and tip of teeth will help it to be good. If I want my diction to be clear and understood, lips and tongue and tip of teeth will help it to be good. If I want my diction to be clear and understood, lips and tongue and tip of teeth will help it to be good. If I want my diction to be clear and understood, lips and tongue and tip of teeth will help it to be good. If I want my diction to be clear and understood, lips and tongue and tip of teeth will help it to be good. If I want my diction to be clear and understood, lips and tongue and tip of teeth will help it to be good. Whew, okay, that's all I have in me to do. Let's go ahead and get started with Betelehemu. If you have that, let's go ahead and get that out. If you don't have it, then look on, if you have a large enough screen, then you should be able to see and read some music that's on the screen. If not, then hopefully you have it printed or it's on another device and then you can take a look at it. But anywho, we're going to do, since the first bit of this repeats, what I would like for us to do is we're going to start and do this the first 4 bars. And just a reminder, this is Betelehemu. And the T of bete, make that not quite so much a hard T and put a little bit of a D with it. Betelehemu, if we can. Here we go. 3 and 4. Betelehemu, Betelehemu, left. Betelehemu, left. Betelehemu. Good. Now, just a couple reminders. At the end of each Betelehemu, remember we're going to go, if I'm singing the bass here, Betelehemu. And then we're going to slide off at the end, correct? Just a quick reminder that that's going to happen. So if you were in your music, I would mark something along the lines of like either a slide, something like that, or something to let me know that I'm going to be sliding down, and just make that note. Okay, so if we flip the page, you do this forever, ever, and ever. Amen? Yes? Yes. All the way through page 5. And then, next part. Now, most of you might remember this, but if you don't, just a quick refresher. We're going to start with the baritones. And this is page 6. And just a quick reminder, our text here is awa io riba ba bo jule. That's all that is. So speak that with me a little bit faster. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ready, speak. Awa io riba ba bo jule. And make sure you have the right emphasis on the right syllables. Okay? All right, so baritones. We're going to do our first two measures. Here we go. 1, 2, T. Ready, and awa io riba ba bo jule. Awa io riba ba fehenti. Good. And yes, we had one extra word there that I didn't talk about, but something tells me that you all got it. So, bases, since I know that you're astute and we're already taking notes on the words and how you can speak these words, I'm going to trust that you already know how to say them. Bases, here we go. Top of the page 6, please. Bases only. 1, 2, T. Ready, and awa io riba ba bo jule. Awa io riba ba fehenti. All right, so I'm sure the bases were perfect. There's one thing, bases, I want you to make sure you take note of and watch out, and that is the D natural that happens on measure, well, it's top of the page, first bar, and then bottom of the page, first bar. That's the awa io. And make sure that you're not doing an approximatura. Awa I. None of that. Okay? So, do this with me real fast. We're going to just break this down. So it's awa io. Do that one more time. Ready? 2 and T. Awa io. I'm sure you're perfect. Let's start right here on the O. O, 3, ba. And make sure you flip the R. O, 3, ba. Do that one more time, bases. Ready? And a go. O, 3, ba. Good. Put that all together. Basses and baritones. Here we go. 1, 2, T. Ready? And go. Awa io riba ba bo jule. Awa io riba ba fehenti. Good. Now, notice there's a repeat, so we'll do that obviously. But we're going to do this once more through, and I want us to make sure that we are making sure that bases you're catching your D natural. Awa io. Baritones, make sure that you're getting down to the D natural on your second measure. So that's the awa io tri ba. None of that note. Make sure you're on the D natural while the basses are on that note. Okay? All right, guys, let's do this one more time, please. Up tempo. Here we go. 1, 2, T. Ready, and awa io ri ba ba bo jule. Awa io ri ba ba fehenti. I'm sure that you were just perfect then, yes? Okay, guys, so we know what's coming up on the next page, on page 7. And top of the page 7, last bar. Baritones, you started with this new, actually the basses start. I'm a tenor, I can't sing that low all the time. But we're going to stop and not do the bass section just yet, and I only want us to do the baritone chunk, please. Basses, I'm going to catch you in just a minute. So, just a quick reminder on the rhythm and what this is going to be looking and sounding like. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nibola Jesu. Okay, so a couple of words. Nibola Jesu. It's as it looks. Okay, next word. Nibola bebibi. Make sure that the bebibi is, almost think of that as just bebibi. Bebibi. There's not much extra on the e vowel, okay? Also, we should feel a big 1 and a big 4, right? 1. Nibola Jesu. Nibola bebibi. Off. And notice that I'm doing a little bit of a E, yeah, and I'm crescendoing. That's making sure that I'm holding that tied eighth and dotted quarter to the downbeat where the rest happens. If I'm looking at bottom of page 7, Jesu, it's going to go all the way over to that rest, and you need to carry it. Okay, so make sure that you're feeling the beats and the pulses. All right, so baritones, I'm going to play your part, and I want you to speak it with me in time. I'm going to start at the top of page 7, last measure. Here we go, speaking it, or if you're feeling like an overachiever, you can skip that step and sing it, but I'm going to speak it first. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nibola Jesu, Nibola Bibi. Off. And once you've done that, you know that it repeats, right? So, now that you've spoken it, let's sing it once. Basses are coming up just after this. And I'm going to take a sip of water. If you haven't sung in a long time, and you haven't used your voice very much, you will find that about 15 to 20 minutes of singing is going to leave you feeling like you just had a workout. So, make sure you're using our warm-ups. Here we go. Baritones, top of 7, last measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nibola Jesu, Nibola Bibi. And I hope you cut off just then. Okay? Basses. I'm at the top of 7, picking up into the second bar. Yes, that's at our Nibola. Nibola. All right, basses. So, your rhythm, I'm not so much worried about your rhythm, because I think you're going to do it just fine, but let's do it once speaking it. So we're going to start right there where I marked in my music. That's the last 2 eighth notes for you guys, basses. So I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to speak it with me. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nibola, Nibola Jesu, Nibola Bibi, Nibola Jesu. Off. And once you've gotten to that point, that's the next little chunk, okay? So, basses. I can't sing all your notes all the time, but I can do what I can. All right, here we go. Top of 7, pick up into the second bar, please. Nibola, that approximator. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Nibola, Nibola Jesu. 1. Nibola Bibi. And 1. Nibola Jesu. And 1. La Bibi. And then we get into that fun duple thing that we talked about. Okay? Are we saying Bibi or Bob? So we're saying Nibola Bi Jesu. So top of 8 right here. Bi Jesu. And then the first measure, that is BB. So just like 2 long E's. Let me double check any more places. Nibola Bi Jesu. Yes. I hope that answered your question. If not, then let me know in the chat. Ryan, could you sing that low F again? Yeah, I don't think I can, so you're going to have to imagine. Use your imagination. Okay, baritones, basses, together. Let's start, please. Top of 7. Basses are going to pick us up into Nibola, that F natural that I'm going to try to sing. Now, baritones, just for reference, you have not been singing this pitch. You just came off of Baba Fehenti. So we're going to go back down to the Ni. Make sure you're coming in on that starting pitch when you come in. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Nibola, 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 Nibola. Okay, in my page, I just turned the wrong page in the wrong direction. So we're going to do that one more time, and I'm not going to turn the wrong page. Are you ready? I hope you are. Here we go. And I'm going to just play here and let you sing. I might sing the baritone, or I'll go back and forth. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Nivola, nivola, mi, 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 nivola, mi. And then we are to duples. Okay, you're very welcome, Andy. So we're not going to do the next little part. We're going to go on to our next piece of music. Okay, so we'll finish this up at our next rehearsal. But I'm going to make a mark in my music. This is where we stopped. So I know, at least with the basses and baritones, what is today, the 2nd? I know that I got you guys at least through to there. Okay, so let's go to our next piece, if you don't mind. This is Praise Ye the Lord, which, the basses sound great. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. So, Praise Ye the Lord of Hosts, from the Oratorio de Sasson. I know most of you are familiar with this. Some of you, I don't know if you did this or not, but we are going to do this again. This, in my opinion, is something that we can do along with the Betelehemu and make some good recordings. You laugh now, and you might be skeptical, but I have faith. So, Praise Ye the Lord of Hosts. Yeah? Okay, so basses, baritones, you sort of the same pitch. I'm going to sing the baritone part this time through, but I'll come back to the basses because I think I can hit the G's. Here's what the thing is that we need to make a note of first, is our breath marks. And so if you have your music out, if you can mark it, fantastic. If not, as I make markings, I can send you PDFs with all of my markings in them. But that's not an excuse not to make your own markings. So we have Praise Ye the Lord of Hosts. That's going to be a quarter note, quarter rest here. So make sure that you have that in your music. You should have a quarter note, quarter rest. And then come and adore him. That'll be an 8th note, 8th rest. So I'm just going to put a little breath mark here. That lets me know, just so you all know, I use the breath mark to indicate an 8th rest or the small subdivision for a rest. If it's a quarter rest, then I draw in the quarter rest. Okay, next little part. Bless his name and worship him in his holy shrine. That's going to be a long one. What we might do for recording's sake is bless his name and worship him in. Just for catching a breath and being able to make it. So I am probably going to go ahead and say we're going to do a little catch breath after name. That way you can make it to the end here where we need to go. Okay? So let's go ahead and start from the top. Let's do the baritones first. Here we go. 2, T, and praise ye the Lord of hosts. Come and adore him. Bless his name and worship him in his holy shrine. And now if you are sitting down like I am right now, that last little no breath took a lot to get there. So make sure that you are breathing deeply and you're not doing any of this type of clavicular breathing. No clavicle coming up, please. Okay, so basses. Now the baritones, I'll come back and do a little spot check on one or two things, but basses, let's go ahead and on to your part. Here we go. 1, 2, T, and praise ye the Lord of hosts. You'll notice I picked my battles. I know that I can't sing an F sharp right now for whatever reason. So, again, baritones, basses, and if there are any tenors watching this right now, pick your battles. It's okay if you can't hit a note. It's good to know when you don't know. That is intelligent singing. So, a couple of things. Basses, let's work backwards. And baritones, I'm going to come and pick you up in just a second. So, working backwards, if we look at bottom system, second measure, going into the third measure. This little motive right here, make sure that you have marked your C natural basses, because that's going to catch you. Some are going to want to do, you're going to want to sing sometimes an C sharp. I've heard it happen. Don't do that, or you're going to want to sing some other pitch other than a C natural. Okay? So let's start right there, please. In his holy shrine basses. 2 T. In holy shrine. Good. And use the ah vowel on shrine to go ahead and bring it forward and make it bright, because you've been living in the basement. Holy shrine. You have an E vowel on holy. Make sure the E brings your sound forward. Yes? Yes. Okay. Baritones. Guys, can we start, please? I'm on bottom system, pick up into the second measure. And worship him in his holy shrine. Let me have basses and baritones together. Here we go. Pick up into the second bar. I'm on the bottom system. That's and worship. Here we go. So 1 and 2 and T and worship him in his holy shrine. Good. And notice that on in his whole, it's going to sound dissonant. So we'll have right, and so that doesn't quite sound like it fits for the basses. You are correct. What you sang, I'm assuming, is going to be correct. So trust it. Okay? In that note. Oh. That's the only F sharp we're getting from me tonight. Okay, guys, let's start from the top, please. Here we go. Unison G. 2 and T and 4. Praise ye the Lord of hosts. Come and adore him. Bless his name and worship him in 2 T off. That's the only singing for the bass part I can do. A couple of things to note on this first page I would like for you to make note of are the unison notes. First two measures for the basses and baritones, these first two bars are unison. So nothing about that should be different. We have parts, and then we come back on hymn. The word hymn is a unison pitch. So go ahead and mark that somehow in your music. Okay. These next three pitches, those are the same. So you should all be singing the same part. And then the last, most important pitch is shrine. Okay? Those two are the same pitches. So we should have parts on the parts that are not highlighted, just as a visual reference. Okay? So come and adore and worship him in his holy. Those should be parts. So make sure you know where your unisons are. Okay? All right. So let's move on, please. Let's go ahead and take a look at circle 2, bottom of 4, last measure. And let's start with the baritones, please. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, T, and 4. Sing, O ye heavens, on earth be joyful. Good. Now, if you just were astute, you'll know I breathed after heavens. So go ahead and make that marking in your score, please. So we're going to breathe after heavens. That'll be an eighth note, eighth rest. And then joyful, I'm also going to make that an eighth note, eighth rest. So just make sure that that is marked. This is for all parts. So basses, U2. Okay? Let's do that one more time. Basses, join us, please. I think you can sight read this. Yes. Wow, one thing for the basses. Sing, O ye heavens. Make sure you get that. Sing, O ye heavens. Okay, here we go. Basses and baritones. Circle 2. Bottom of the page, last bar. 2 and T and 4. Sing, O ye heavens, on earth be joyful. How'd you do? The last part of joyful, I put a little shadow vowel at the end of that. So what that would look like in my music would look like joyful, and I would just, that lets me know to put a L at the end. And notice you have to meter it. So joyful, 1 and 2 and T and 4 L. Does that make sense? Yes? So that's how that's going to work. Can we all start, please, pick up into, I'm on top of page 4. Let's pick up into the second bar. That's on earth be joyful, and make sure you get a shadow vowel there, please. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2 and T. On earth be joyful. I hope that was, you were together with me on that. Okay, guys. So this is, I think we've been going for about 30 minutes. It is 6:42. We are going to get on the Zoom call at 6:45, and then we'll be off by 7 o'clock. So I will see you in a hot minute. I hope you enjoyed this, because I definitely did.